Hi, Steve from Wandsworth Physiotherapy. Osteoarthritis is the most common joint disease that we see as physiotherapists. It's defined as a degenerative joint disease. It typically affects us as we age, over 50, over 60, over 70. It's more prevalent in women than in men, affecting the knee joint and the hip joint, which requires over 140,000 total knee or total hip replacements each year. It's classically defined as a wear and tear problem, which is true, and this can be brought about by excessive loading. So if you do a lot of sport and activity when you're younger, or if you're in the military, for example, you'll wear those joints. If you're obese, you're putting more load through the joint. And the pathophysiology of what happens is the cartilage that covers the end of the bone starts to thin, and the underlying bone thickens. You get build-up of bone around the edges of the joints called osteophytes. The joint capsule and the joint fluid becomes thicker, and it just becomes a stiff, painful joint. It's typically sore first thing in the morning for half an hour or so. It can be stiff and sore with the more activity that you do, and it's also sore in cold weather and in damp weather. Now, there's a growing body of evidence that suggests it's not just wear and tear, there's an inflammatory component to it. The metabolism of cartilage is modulated by enzymes called MMPs, and in a normal state, there's a balance between the production and the breakdown of cartilage. Now, increased systemic inflammation can upregulate the production of these MMP enzymes, which means there's more breakdown of joint cartilage, so that the joint cartilage becomes thin and osteoarthritis becomes more prevalent. Now, there's one thing that causes more systemic inflammation in your body, and that's being overweight. The more body fat that you have, the more inflammatory chemicals that are going to be released into your body, the more upregulation of these MMP enzymes breaking down joint cartilage, the debris of which will end up inside the joint, and you'll have a local inflammatory response breaking that down, and it's an exacerbation of this breakdown in the cartilage in your joints. Now, there are things that you can do to manage it. You can lose weight, you can modulate how much exercise that you do, but there are also foods and nutrients which can help to modulate MMP enzyme expression and also help to preserve the joint cartilage. And we're going to be exploring that over the coming weeks, so stay tuned to find out more.